Days of peace and prosperity. I am Mr. J. Blancaflor from West Visayas State University La Paz campus. Early evidence shows that COVID 19 will slow down the goal of lowering the learning poverty, which is defined as the percentage of 10-year-old children who cannot read and understand a simple story, by at least half the global rate by 2030. Pre-COVID, it was estimated that the global learning poverty would go down from 53% in 2015 to 27% by 2030. Post-COVID, it is 43% by 2030. Filipino students lagged behind other countries in the International Assessment for Mathematics and Science for grade 4. The Philippines only scored 297 in mathematics and 249 in science, which are significantly lower than any other participating country. The country also scored the lowest among all 58 participating countries for both tests. One way to enhance the interest of the students towards mathematics is to connect it to the context of the real world situations, specifically to their own locality. Capiz is an agricultural province which focuses mainly on farming and fishing. The vast seas and other bodies of water in the province of Capiz is a haven of richest grounds in the country. As schools located in an agricultural place, specifically farming and fishing, they should have developed contextualized learning materials which integrate the knowledge of fishing in mathematics education. However, there is a limited source of learning materials in mathematics education that contextualizes fishing. Hence, this study sought to develop Pagpangisda-based learning module for general mathematics. This study aimed to develop Pagpangisda-based learning module for general mathematics. Specifically, it sought to answer the following questions. 1. What are the sociocultural practices used by the Capiz non-fisher folks in traditional fishing? Second, what are the mathematical concepts embedded in the traditional fishing of the Capiz non-fisher folks? Third, what learning module can be developed from the mathematical concepts in traditional fishing? Fourth, what is the evaluation of the experts, teachers, and students on the use of Pagpangisda-based module for general mathematics? And fifth, what are the learners' experiences on the use of Pagpangisda-based module for general mathematics? It is also important to highlight the methods implemented in the study. Hence, let me tell you the journey. This study was guided by the ADDI model. Before the conduct of the interview and focus group discussion with the 8 fisher folks, the researchers sought approval from the barangay captain, ensuring that the conduct of interview shall comply with the minimum health protocols set by the Department of Health and the Interagency Task Force. In the analysis phase, the researcher conducted an interview and focus group discussion with the fisher folks to identify the mathematical concepts in traditional fishing. The conduct of interview and focus group discussion was from December 11 to 29, 2020. These 3 weeks of gathering data helped the researcher to saturate the needed information and concepts for the development of Pagpangisda-based learning module. In the conduct of the gathering data, the researcher invited an expert or a validator in the field of traditional fishing to counter-check the claims of the study. After conducting the interview and focus group discussion, the mathematical concepts were developed into a Pagpangisda-based module. In the design phase, the researcher designed the outlines based on the results of the analysis phase. The concepts and theories were then integrated to produce the prototype of the module. After the formulation of the outlines, the module was developed in the development phase. On this stage, the researcher wrote the module and content validity was done to quality assure the module. The 5 experts in the development of contextualized learning material checked and quality assured the Pagpangisda-based module utilizing the evaluation tool for content and for layout and design and evaluation rating sheet for print resources. Before the implementation phase and evaluation phase, the researchers sought approval to the school's division superintendent of SDO Rojas City and the school heads of the identified coastal schools through writing a letter of permission. In the implementation phase, the module was implemented to the field through a series of trials by teachers and students. The modules were distributed to the learners both in print and online because the schools were implementing modular distance learning. Individual trials by the 10 mathematics teachers and small group trials by 10 students and large group trials by 40 students. The evaluation phase assessed the module development and implementation through an evaluation tool for instructional materials. This would determine the assessment of the teachers and students on the module. After a series of research implementation, the following were the findings of the study. The sociocultural practices of the fisher folks are the following. 1. Reverence to the sovereign. Fisher folks' goal is to have a bountiful catch for their family. That is why they allow God to come into their lives. They perform rituals that they believe could help them to get a good catch. Among the rituals they perform are 1. We have pagpangagdi or praying. 2. Panabi-tabi or asking permission. Second, oneness with the nature. Nature and men are two interrelated elements of the universe. Both are separate entities, yet they blend together to achieve common goals. Third, knowledge system transmits from one generation to another. Fishermen value traditional fishing as their main source of living for their family. Since fishing is their livelihood, this is passed on to their children. They're able to teach fishing to their children, which becomes also their quality time. Fishing becomes part of their life because this was the occupation of their parents and at the time they were born. Fourth, fishing as a result of innovativeness. Being innovative is creating something new from the existing materials. To thrive in their community, fishermen should possess the characteristic of being innovative so that they could utilize the existing resources that can be found in their community. In this way, they could save money out of those resources they can use instead of buying it in the market. And fifth, system of business and estimation. It is prevalent in the community of fishermen that they need to sell their catch so that they could have money to buy for their necessities. This goes to say that they should know how to sell them. They have the basic knowledge of measuring, specifically in weighing and its corresponding amount. Mathematical concepts embedded in the traditional fishing. We have first, relation and function. The concepts of relation and functions are prevalent in the occurrences of high tides and low tides using the tide readings on the calendar used by the fishermen. There is a relation between the dates and the occurrences of tides. Second, business mathematics. It is understandable that after catching fish and crabs out from the panggal, they are able to sell it to the market. Yet the amount they obtain from their catch is just enough for their day-to-day expenses. There are times that the net they are using gets damaged and there is a need for them to replace it. And third, logic. The mathematical concepts embedded in traditional fishing, specifically in logic, are the statements, arguments, and propositions from the beliefs, knowledge systems, and practices of the fisher folks. This is the learning module that was produced out of the contextualized grade 11 general mathematics lessons, specifically on relations and functions, business mathematics, and logic from the mathematical concepts of traditional fishing. The learning module contains the content standards, performance standards, Learning competency, which are taken from the grade 11 General Mathematics Curriculum Guide, which will serve as the instructional objectives of the learning module. It also includes pre-assessment. The presentation contains the meat of the learning module that is in 4A's model. This also includes the abstraction, let's practice, generalization, and the post-assessment. Evaluation of the experts, teachers, and students. The evaluation of the five experts on the learning module is very satisfactory. They have mentioned that the concepts of the traditional fishing fit the lesson. Experts also validate that the learning module is a contextualized material by which the learners could relate with. The evaluation of the 10 mathematics teachers is very satisfactory. They highlighted that the learning module can contribute to the learning achievement expected from the learners. The content is contextualized in nature and reinforces higher order thinking skills from the learners. The module allows the learners to explore traditional fishing, which will develop their critical and creative thinking skills. The learning module also develops the 21st century skills. The evaluation of the 50 students is very satisfactory. The students find the lessons more interesting and attractive because the mathematical concepts are embedded in fishing. The learning module enhances their skills in computation and logic because the examples utilized are familiar to them. So this time we'll be finding out students' experiences on the use of Pagpangisda-Based learning module for general mathematics. So first, best of both worlds. They have written down that the learning modules has provided them the experience of diving into the best of both worlds. They have explored the world of traditional fishing while acquiring the computational concepts and skills in mathematics. They can relate on the cited examples and illustrations because these are some of the things they have encountered in their day-to-day lives. Second, relatable to the real-world scenario. The learners find the module that contains clear lessons and instructions that are related to their day-to-day living. They find the language also can be easily understood and comprehensive. The terminologies used are in their level as senior high school learners. The illustrations and pictures are appropriate and aligned to the lesson objectives. More on technical and aesthetics. As stated in Debit Order Number 1, Series of 2021 titled Guidelines on the Evaluation of Self-Learning Modules for Quarters 3 and 4 for School Year 2020-2021, the kind of learning resources used in schools mirrors the kind of education being offered. If quality education is expected to be offered, it is crucial that quality learning resources shall be provided to the learners and teachers. Hence, it is essential to note some of the experiences of the learners in the utilization of the learning module in terms of the technical requirements. Here are some of the recommendations based on the findings. 1. For our instructional supervisors, it is recommended that instructional supervisors shall craft and design a training workshop in the development of ethnomathematics-based learning module to other key stages. Further, they may provide technical support to school heads and teachers on the integration of ethnomathematics in the teaching and learning. Second, for our instructional leaders, it is recommended that the instructional leaders include the utilization of ethnomathematics on the in-service trainings and school learning action cells. For our mathematics teachers, it is also recommended for the teachers to conduct relevant action research on the utilization of the Pagpangisda-Based learning module. It is recommended for the community to craft policies that would preserve and cultivate the practices, rituals, and traditions. Learners are encouraged to utilize the learning module for them to find connections between the subject and their environment. The results of this research will give future researchers a benchmark idea to replicate this study using mathematical concepts that can be found in farming. And these are the captured screenshots of the references of my research study. Thank you so much, and may the good Lord continue to bless us all.